Good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Update on this Earth Day, or it's not Earth Day, it's Earth Week, Earth Month. I'm Patrick Wright.
I'm Monica Manny. Next Tuesday, April 30th, the Fredonia community will be participating in Buffalo News Kids Day. Students and staff will be stationed in multiple areas around Fredonia and Dunkirk area to sell issues of the Buffalo News. This event has raised close to $5 million since it began in 1983. The papers will be sold for $1 each. All profits go to John R. Oshai Children's Hospital, Cradle Beach, and Children of Western New York. This will last from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
The American Lung Association released its State of the Air report early this morning. The report uses data from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to rank the cleanliness of air for different counties. This test measures two most widespread types of pollution, ozone and particle pollution. Although Chautauqua County received an A grade for particle pollution, it received an F for ozone pollution. It also states in the report that Chautauqua County had 10 orange days. Orange days are days when the air is unhealthy for groups like children, active adults, and people with respiratory diseases like asthma. During orange days, these groups should limit their prolonged outdoor activities.
Thank you, Patrick. And in other Chautauqua news, Chautauqua County's estimated total population has declined again this year, according to the most recent United States Bureau's report. This is Chautauqua County's 8th consecutive year on a population decline, bringing the population from an estimated 128,000 to a now 127,000 over the last 8 years. Chautauqua County has seen a 5.2% decrease in population. Meanwhile, according to the United States Census Bureau, southern counties have seen an average of 1.8% increase, according to the state assemblyman Andy Goodall. Chautauqua County's population shift can be due to the increased minimum wage and New York State and the amount of manufacturing jobs that have left the country as a result. Ahead in national news, the college admissions scandal continues. New York-based drug company faces criminal charges, and Washington State proposes a new way to process bodies after death.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Well, it is Earth Month after all. Welcome back. This Saturday, Fredonia will host several Earth Day related events, including the annual beach cleanup. The Greystone Nature Preserve is spearheading these events, and we have them on to talk to us today. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So we have Emily and Liam, and you guys are interns at the Greystone Nature Preserve, right?
Yep. Yes.
All right. So tell us what their mission is all about.
So Greystone is a local nonprofit whose main focus is to educate the public about how we can be better stewards for the earth.
Great.
Absolutely. You have an event coming up this weekend, correct?
That is correct. This Saturday in the Science Center from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. we are hosting the Earth Month Expo, and it is open to everybody, free admission, and we have games, we have crafts, we have tie-dyeing, we have musical events, we have guest speakers, we got everything you could ever want.
What
We
kind
got dogs.
Oh, great.
Yes, the dogs.
So what kind of music acts will you guys have?
We actually have 2 a cappella groups. We have a premium blend and much more chill. We
Okay.
have 3 individual acts, some musicians on campus, and then a couple miscellaneous artists such as African Drumming Club and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's the biggest takeaway that you want people to leave Saturday with?
Well, we think we definitely want people to just come and learn a little bit more about the small changes they can make, and just the awareness of people. Things they might not know will help the earth out in the long run.
That's great. And I know you guys said that the Greystone Nature Preserve does a lot of workshops to help educate the public. So I know you guys have been working really hard on this event. So we definitely wanted to help you get the word out about it.
Yes, thank you.
And if they wanted to find out any more information, where could people go to find out?
Yes.
If you just check out Greystone Nature Preserve on Facebook, and you can search up our event Earth Month Expo, you can check us out, and we will be right there. We'll get you all the information that you need.
Great. And I know you mentioned earlier that if people that bring a reusable container will get a discount, right?
Yes, we have a Thai food truck coming called Siri, and they're offering $1 off to people who bring reusable containers for the food.
That's great. So make sure to bring your reusable containers. Just before we go, Emily and Liam, tell us where, when, and how much.
So again, it is free, open to the public. You don't have to be a student to attend, and it's going to be in the Science Center from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, the 27th.
Anything else we missed that you want to let everyone know?
Just to reiterate, if you like dogs, if you like tie-dye, if you like games, you like music, come on down. We'll love to have you.
It's going to be great.
All right, great.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so much
much.
for coming on.
Thank
you guys.
you.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a minute with your national news.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Welcome back. And in honor of Earth Month this month, Patrick and I have decided to go natural today.
So the true skin is out.
The truth. This is the truth. This is the true us.
No makeup, no contacts. We're out here. We're doing it.
For the earth.
Throughout, yeah, for the earth. It's for the earth.
Do it for the earth.
But we also were showing you some images as we come back from break that our producer Dane and Anina, our other anchor, next week took. So thank you to you guys for doing that.
Absolutely.
But we're going to talk a little bit about the national news now. All right,
Absolutely.
let's get into it. As the college admissions scandal continues, Laura Janke will plead to conspiracy to commit racketeering. Janke is a 36-year-old former assistant soccer coach at the University of Southern California. She had created a fake athletic profile for the children of wealthy parents to facilitate their entrances to the universities. Lori Laughlin's daughter, Olivia J. Giannulli, was included in this as well. Janke worked with Rick Singer, who orchestrated the scandal. Singer, in turn, worked with Laughlin and Giannulli via email.
Yesterday, a Rochester-based drug distributor and its former executive faced criminal charges of the national opioid crisis. Lawrence Dudd, the former CEO of Rochester Drug Cooperative, Inc., and William Piotrowski, the former chief of compliance, were both charged with conspiracy to distribute oxycodone and fentanyl for non-medical reasons. U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jeffrey Berman, had this to say.
Rochester Drug Cooperative, or RDC, is one of the nation's largest drug distributors. From 2012 to 2017, it shipped tens of millions of highly addictive oxycodone pills and fentanyl products to pharmacies that it knew were illegally dispensing narcotics.
Both men face the potential of life in prison with a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years on the grounds of drug trafficking. RDC also agreed to pay $20 million over 5 years to settle the case. DEA Special Agent Ray Donovan states, quote, "Today's charges should send shockwaves through the pharmaceutical industry, reminding them of their roles as gatekeepers of prescription medication," end quote. Patrick?
In the spirit of Earth Month, the AP reports Washington state may become the first state to allow natural organic reduction as a method to deal with a body after death. The AP says this option will be an alternative to traditional burial or cremation. The bill has passed the Washington state legislature, and if signed by Governor Jay Inslee, will take effect May of next year. Senator Jamie Pedersen, the sponsor of the bill, says this process has a smaller impact of the environment and therefore makes sense for cities and crowded places. The process is, quote, an accelerated decomposition processes that turns bodies into soil within weeks, end quote. It is also known as human composting. The AP says the body will produce enough soil to fill 2 wheelbarrows and takes about 4 to 7 weeks. Relatives can treat the soil like they would cremated remains. They can scatter the soil and keep it in an urn, or even use it to plant a tree. No price has been announced for recomposition, or to recompose, The company responsible for the service says, quote, "The goal is to build a sustainable business to make recomposition a permanent death care option." And now Eriquetta Cost joins us for your Channel 8 weather update. And Eriquetta, that last story was a mouthful, but I got through it.
It happens.
Exactly. So how is weather looking?
So it looks like we're going to see a mix of rain and sun this week. So pretty average week here in Fredonia. Today we saw winds around 16 miles per hour, but these winds will mitigate into Thursday morning. Tonight into Thursday, we should see clear skies and a high of 61 tomorrow afternoon. Chances of showers begin Thursday night and go into Friday night, with some sun Saturday. Saturday, the temperature will drop to 49 and stay right around there until Tuesday, where the expected high is 57.
All right, well, thank you, Eriquetta. We'll be right back with your international news and a look at sports with Kevin ahead.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Welcome back. Every 2 minutes, a child dies from malaria in Africa, according to a doctor, Mary Hamill of World Health Organization. Just yesterday, the world's first ever vaccine for the parasite has been launched in sub-Saharan Africa. With over 30 years and $500 million invested into this project, the World Health Organization considers it an extreme milestone. While all of this is a major accomplishment, there are some kickers. William Moss of International Vaccine Access Center says that the efficiency of the vaccine will be low because malaria has a very complex and advanced way of working itself into the body. While this is challenging, Moss is working on the estimate that one life can be saved for every 200 children with the disease.
And Sri Lanka is still recovering from the bombings that killed over 350 people on Easter Sunday. The Associated Press says the country's junior defense minister said 2 local Muslim extremist groups are to blame. The minister says that while the bombers had advanced education, quote, their thinking is that Islam can be the only religion in this country, end quote. But Sri Lanka leaders put partial blame on security officials. The Associated Press reports the Sri Lanka president wants the defense secretary and national police chief to resign. These requests come after it was discovered that security officials were aware of and ignored reports of possible bombings before Easter. Kevin Syracuse joins us now to talk about the Fredonia sports scene. Kevin, what's going on? I hear the NFL draft is tomorrow. What you thinking?
Yes, I'm looking forward. I can't wait to see what the Bills do to further improve their team.
All right.
But for Fredonia sports, the Fredonia softball team played 2 games at Oswego yesterday and lost both of them. They lost the first game 16-3 and then lost the second game 2-1. Sam Seeger threw a 1-hitter in the Game 2 defeat, but a walk, 2 bunts, and 2 errors on the same play led to both Oswego runs in the 3rd inning. The Blue Devils are now 11-19 overall, 6-8 in SUNYAC play, and are tied with Buff State for 6th place in this conference standings. They will conclude the regular season with 4 home games this weekend, a doubleheader Friday versus Oneonta and a doubleheader Saturday versus New Paltz. The women's lacrosse team snapped their 7-game losing streak Saturday at University Stadium as they defeated Plattsburgh 13-12. Natalie Prim scored 3 goals for the Blue Devils, while Samantha Spice, Madeline Haney, Allie Kuhn, and Alyssa Kissel had 2 each. Jen Kirshner and Casey White scored the other Fredonia goals. Saturday was also senior day as Spice and Kirshner were honored prior to the game. With their 2 goals and 3 assists, Spice was able to eclipse 100 career points. Fredonia is now 4-12 overall and 1-7 in the SUNYAC. They lost at Allegheny last night 17-10 and will conclude the regular season Saturday at Oneonta. The NBA playoffs are in full swing as many teams have already advanced to the second round. In the East, Milwaukee and Boston will be squaring off in the semifinals after the Celtics swept the Pacers and the Bucks swept the Pistons. Toronto and Philadelphia will also be squaring off after the Raptors defeated the Magic 4-1 and the 76ers defeated the Nets 4-1. In the West, Golden State has a 3-1 lead over the LA Clippers. Houston has a 3-1 lead over Utah, and Denver has a 3-2 lead over San Antonio. Portland is the only team to advance to the Western Conference semifinals so far, as they defeated Oklahoma City last night thanks to Damian Lillard's game-winning, series-winning 3-pointer from almost half court. As for the NHL playoffs, there is only one series that hasn't been clinched yet. Washington will be hosting Carolina tonight for Game 7, as the winner will take on the Islanders, who swept the Penguins in Round 1. Also in the East, Boston defeated Toronto in Game 7 last night, and they will now face Columbus in Round 2 after the Blue Jackets swept the 128-point Tampa Bay Lightning in Round 1. In the West, Dallas will face St. Louis after the Stars defeated the Predators 4-2 and the Blues defeated the Jets 4-2. And finally, San Jose will take on Colorado as the Sharks defeated the Golden Knights in overtime in Game 7 last night, and the Avalanche defeated the Flames 4-1.
All right, Kevin. Well, thank you for all of those sports, all of that news. We'll be back in a few minutes for one last look at the weather.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
And welcome back. We just want to remind you that the Earth Month Expo is going to be this Saturday at 9 a.m. And they're going to have food trucks and games. They're also going to have dogs and prizes if you're interested. They have a little cultural events as well, cultural music coming as well.
Exactly, and make sure to bring your reusable containers because there will be a food truck there where you can get a discount if you bring your reusable container.
Yes,
because
Thai food I hear.
Thai food. Have you had Thai food?
I have.
I haven't. What's your opinion?
I love it. I would love it even more in a reusable container.
In a reusable container?
You see? Yeah,
that's right.
that's
So
good.
there's been a lot going on campus. I also want to remind you that WNYF, our station, is putting on Super Dance for muscular dystrophy. Looking for a cure. That'll be in Steele Hall this Saturday, and you can get tickets at the ticket office or buy them at the door. But now that that's all said, we're going to join Erica DeCoste over at the weather wall for a quick last look at our weather. Erica, how is it looking out there?
So a mix of weather throughout this week is nothing Fredonia can't handle. A mix of sun and rain is what we look forward to this coming week. Clear skies tomorrow will turn gray and rainy until about Saturday. After that, our days look like they could go either way, rainy or sunny. Our high this week is Thursday at 61. If the April showers tale is true, we are bound for many, many flowers this season. Here's a look at the weather for the rest of the week.
All right, and that is a look at your weather, Erica. Thank you. All right, and we will be back next week with Carl and Anina with more news for you.
Yes, absolutely. Don't forget about this Saturday and all the events coming up.
Exactly. All right, thanks to our crew on the floor and in the control room, and we'll see you next week on Wednesday. Good night.